Welcome back to OpenLine. We are here to help you tonight with your fitness and nutrition goals for 2017. We'd love to see you be successful and call in later with some success stories. Diane Dameron, our health and fitness coach, is here giving out those tips tonight and giving out some recipes, and we have some pictures of stuff that you've created, and hopefully it will spark some ideas for people.
Yeah, we've been talking about nuts, and you know, I think nuts are very, very good for they're shelf stable, so you know, you can take them on the go. And you know, part of, as we were talking about earlier tonight, part of you know, the success is in planning. You want to plan ahead, think about your days, and I think it's very important to have kind of an if-then statement. You know, always be prepared for whatever. And we are so on the go as a population. Everybody's on the go. We never know where you're going to be. You might head out for a meeting, and one of the things that I love to have is trail mix. And I make my own trail mix. I make it with a mix of, you know, whatever nuts you like, a little bit of dried fruit, and then a little bit of dark chocolate chunks. And I think we have a photo of the trail mix, and this you can make in bulk, and there I've added a little bit of Cheerios, just plain Cheerios, to kind of bulk it up and give you a little bit of fiber. Make that in bulk and then pre-portion it out in little baggies, and you can stick it, you know, in a briefcase, in a book bag, in the car even. And you know, like I said, that's shelf stable, so you don't have to keep it. You can take it on your plane if you're catching a plane. And I have done that. I have done that. So, you know, and that's great for kids and adults alike. Even in a golf bag, you can put that in a golf bag, you know, if you're out on the course. And then the other thing that I think is so important is breakfast. And breakfast, so many times I hear people don't start the day with breakfast.
Right, because you're in a rush. Your feet hit the ground. You're like, okay, I got to do these 100 things today. I'm going to get started right now. And you just whiz by that kitchen. It's like,
and so many people also say, oh, I don't do breakfast. I'm not hungry. I don't eat breakfast. Well, it is so important to your metabolism, and it doesn't even have to be, don't think I've got to have like a bowl of cereal, or I've got to have, you know, a breakfasty food. It can be whatever, you know, it could be leftovers from the night before. It could be a hard-boiled egg, you know, it could be some string cheese, just whatever you have. One thing that I love to do is to get whole wheat tortillas and make wraps with them for breakfast, and they're super easy. You can plan them ahead. That one is just like sort of like a burrito wrap. It's just got some scrambled eggs with whatever leftovers you have. I like, and we had a caller earlier that asked about mushrooms. I use mushrooms in there to kind of beef it up a little bit, and then just some cheese, and you can even add some salsa or avocado or whatever, and you know, you can even make that the night before, roll it up, and just take it on the go. And if you wrap it up in a little bit of aluminum foil, you can eat it in the car even. And then we have another one we've been talking, we're so into our nut butters that we've been talking about tonight. This one, I call it the Elvis wrap. It's just, I take a little bit of peanut butter, and again, you could use almond butter or cashew butter, and then just sliced banana, and just roll that up. And I have found kids love that. And it's kind of sweet, but it's not too sweet. And even if you wanted to add a little bit of honey to give kind of a natural sugar to it, that's a really good snack or breakfast, either one.
And so quick to make.
Absolutely. I mean, that would literally take you 30 seconds.
And you're out the door with it.
That's right. And you could easily make 4 as easily as you could make 1. So those are great options for breakfast. And again, it's not, you know, you don't have to think too far ahead. And those are also very cheap. Again, super affordable for this time of year.
But sometimes it just requires that planning and thinking ahead, so you have the ingredients on hand, and you know what you're going to do in the morning, and you think about it the night before.
And again, we were talking about, you know, grocery shopping, and if you have all of those things, you know, from, you know, let's say you made stir fry the night before, add a scramble an egg and add that to it, and you've got, you know, a wrap the next morning, or just, you know, whatever. Or even, let's say you made some pot roast, or you had something, you know, add a little meat to it, you know, and you've got that wrap in the next morning.
That is a great point, because some people just aren't breakfast people. Like, I don't want eggs, you know, I don't want to do oatmeal, and there's no rules. If you want your roast beef, you have your roast beef.
Have a lunch sandwich or something.
Absolutely. What else you got for us, Diane?
Well, and I think, you know, we have the caller also who's lost 8 pounds, and I think it's very important, you know, you want to celebrate your successes, you know, I think that's, you know, you set a goal, and then each week, let's say you meet that goal, reward yourself. But don't reward it with, like, you know, an ice cream sundae or, you know, something that's going to derail or go against what you just did. And I think some things that are really, you know, fun is like getting a manicure or a pedicure, especially if you've just started working out and your feet are sore, or maybe getting a massage. You could also, you know, what I like to do, maybe take a new class of some sort, whether that's a Tai Chi class or even a cooking class, something that's, a healthy cooking class. The other thing that I like, I as much as I cook, the thing that I like to do is to buy like a food gadget, something that, okay, I use these, maybe it's a new food grater or, a rolling pin. And I've got a photo here. This was from a kid's menu that I did, but, whether you're a kid or adult, I think anytime you have something new to play with is always fun. So, you've got your whisk and your serving, your measuring cups, and that is a French rolling pin instead of like a regular rolling pin, which is, really easy to use. And we've got a grater. And then even, the little plastic containers, those are great for kids, but they're also great for adults to take them to work with you. You can have, those dips. One of them, the one on the left is a hummus dip. And, back to your tools, you could get a blender or some type of a food processor as a gift to yourself. And then some Greek yogurt with, just some chives added to it. So.
Or even, some new workout gear. Right?
Exactly.
I reached this milestone, I'm going to get myself a new workout outfit.
Yeah.
You feel good in it.
Yeah. And I think, you're the more confidence you have in whatever you're doing, that helps. So if that means getting a new outfit to go to the gym and, maybe as you're starting to lose weight, get the bright colors and things that make you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We touched on this earlier, and sometimes if you haven't been into a gym lately or you're out of shape, you just don't know what to do in the gym. And yes, you can start at home, but maybe eventually you do want to get into the gym. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I find people at gyms, like the people who own these gyms and the trainers, they want to help people. That's why they chose that profession. They want to see people succeed.
And you don't always necessarily even have to pay for it. Like, you don't have to pay for a personal trainer. Most places, if you go to a new gym, there are people there, like equipment type people there, who, if you ask, say, how do I use this? What do I do? And if your gym is not like that, look for somebody who you like to look at. And I mean that like in a normal way. Like if you
don't be a stalker. Let's just say that.
That's right. No. And don't interrupt them. Find them at a time when they're maybe getting some water and say, I love your look. Or because some people, you've got real bulky people, and then you've got some runners maybe who come in. But and I think it's very important. Again, you don't have to just run. You don't focus on cardio. We're actually burning more calories, and you up your metabolism by using your muscles and really doing that resistance.
And you have a longer sustained calorie burn.
Exactly.
Doing weights, right?
Let's say you have 30 minutes and that's all you have. If you could run or you could lift weights, I always say lift weights, because that 30 minutes when you're running, you'll burn those calories for that 30 minutes. But if you lift weights, you will burn calories like even while you're sleeping for the next 72 hours. So for 3 days, basically, you're going to be burning more calories, because when we build up our muscles, that when they recover, they're repairing themselves. So we have to burn calories as our muscles go to repair themselves.
So don't discount the weight training. Yes.
And even, you're not going to get bulky. You're not, you're just not. And women certainly won't. We just don't have enough testosterone naturally to get bulky.
My husband always rolls his eyes. I'm like, well, I don't want to get big. And he's like, you're not going to get big. You're not going to get big.
Is that how you say to him?
Yes, I don't want to get big. I do, and he always rolls his eyes and laughs at me, and it's an ongoing conversation and joke in our house. Also, when it comes to weight training, I've been in a lot of gyms for a long time. I was very athletic as a kid, and still am today, but I see, especially women, think they have to go in there and get these big old weights, and then they are stressing. They're not doing the proper movements, and that can be very damaging. If you're doing stuff too fast, you're not getting, you're doing bicep curls, and you're just kind of throwing them around. You can hurt yourself.
Form is so much more important than the actual weight, and you want to go. People will say like, oh, lift until failure. Well, you don't really want to fail. You want to go until maybe you can't get any more out, and you don't have to do. I say anywhere from 8 to 15 reps. If you're doing more than 15, that's too light of a weight. But you want to struggle, but you still want to be able to do the proper form. I also think speed is not the priority. You want to slowly do it, and actually the slower you do it, the more you'll work out. So do it to like a count of 2. So like if you're raising something, say 1, 2, 1, 2 as you're lowering it, and the same way for squats or anything else. And breathe while you're doing it. But because you're right, sometimes people go in and get really big weights, or sometimes I'll see some men will go in and they're just and that's not necessarily the best way to do it.
And that goes back to also to asking for help, and don't be afraid to do that. Just say, well, how do I use this thing? And because too, the same piece of equipment at one gym can be different at the next gym. It's just whoever made the piece of equipment, so all the knobs and things are different.
And
it's okay to ask.
You want to be safe, because let's say you're using using a piece of equipment that you've never used before and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you hurt yourself, well, then you could be out for 6 months and you wouldn't be able to do that anyways. So, and really, you know, I personally prefer free weights over
Equipment,
machines,
yeah.
right? Because, you know, the more you have to stabilize yourself and the more you're using weights, the better full body workout it is. And I believe in a full body workout. Like when you go, don't do that old college kid, you know, it's arms, it's biceps today, and then it's back tomorrow, and you know, everything. Just go in and do head to toe. Basically, you're fine. And as long as you're not your Olympic husband,
right.
most people, the majority of the population is fine just doing a
the
full
rest of
body.
us. And also find someone to hold you accountable in a loving way.
Yes, and I think, you know, we have people in our lives who can be supportive and encouraging. You don't want them to sabotage you or even to make you feel guilty, because I can remember there were people like that who, you know, who are maybe your bad friends, you know, where you have your bad habits, and that can be contagious. It can be contagious, good and bad. You know, you've got friends who will support you in ordering good food, and then there are friends who, when you go and maybe you order, you know, a grilled chicken sandwich or, you know, some type of a rice bowl or something like that, and they say, "Oh, come on, you
can't just cheat.
Yeah,
you know.
just get the French fries. And,
you know you want it,
right?
Yeah.
And you don't want people like that who are either going to inhibit or sabotage or prevent you from, you know, staying on your goals. And you also want people who will encourage you but not force you or feel like, you know, it's like a guilt trip. You know, there are people who will say, like, you know, whether it's a spouse or a parent or something like that, saying, you know, well, if you don't do this, and you know, you've got to do that, and you know, and it has to come from within. You know, you're not going to ever make that change, and it also has to be something that is internal and not external. It's not about fitting into a pair of jeans or, you know, wanting to look good for somebody else. It's got to be, I want to be the best person I can be, and I want to stick around till I'm, you know, 100 years old, and, you know, really live the full life that you want to.
You train people. Is that what you see for people who have had long-term success? Not just like, I lost the 30 pounds and I kept it off for 6 months and then came back on. What do you see as the real key in the people who have long-term success?
Right. And I've worked with some people who they say they're committed, like, oh, I want to do this, and it turns out it was because they were being guilted by their husband or by their a family member or a friend or something. And usually it will never work until deep down inside you have said, I'm doing this for me and for nobody else. And again, and it has to be something that's not just mirror, you know, not the external. Like if you look in the mirror and you say, I want to lose weight, well, it's got to be something, you know, deep in your gut that says, you know, or your heart, or, you know, I really want to, and it doesn't, whether it's losing weight or just maybe, you know, you can be what's called skinny fat, where you're very unhealthy, you're not getting in exercise, you're just eating all the wrong things. You know, you just want to maybe even gain a few pounds of muscle and, you know, just get fit. It's got to be something that you want to do, and people who, you know, go on a diet to lose weight, you're not fixing the problem.
The root of it.
Right. So you've got to kind of get to that bare necessities of, you know, this is going to be you know, my book, Don't Diet, Live It. It's got to be a lifestyle and not a diet, not a short-term thing. It's got to be
something you can sustain and want to sustain.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We're on that note, we're going to take a quick break. More of your phone calls, if you have them, when we come back. The number is 615-737+ is the number to call. We'll get them lined up during the break. Stay with us.